Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hi.
We are so excited to have everyone join us and have a good not lazy time, but a fun time saying hi to everyone. and just going from there. Tonight we're gonna talk about some 80s movies. But what I did not remember is our first one is actually made in 93.
It's close enough. It's close enough.
It's all the 80s feels. So.
Yeah. It's close enough. It's fine.
Let's see who we've got here. We've got Kieran saying hi. We got
Kieran.
Des. Hey, Des.
Okay.
We got Scuba Pete. The house. We've got Keith. And we got Hoppies. Hi, Hoppy.
Hello.
Let's see. A lot of highs. Then we got Kat. Adam.
What's up, Adam?
Got Miriam.
Miriam.
Abby Geekster. Woohoo! Well, ladies, let's get on to it. We may have some. There's Ricardo. Woo! I'm getting long in the chat. Gerard. Mark.
Hey, Baz. Hey, Michael.
Ricardo. Miss Cat. Hi, Cat. Sorry.
Hi, other cat.
Cat 2. So we thought it would be fun to do a stream and take 80s movies and do the differences between how it was so normal back then, where it is now. And there are so many things that are so different. Like with Sleepless in Seattle. Let's dig in, ladies.
All right. So we're talking about our stalking skills, right? No?
Our stalking skills. At the time when we were watching it, who knew that there was going to be so much stalking into it? You know, now we watch it and we think, oh, it's just a love, or back then, it's just a love story.
It's so sweet. She felt a connection from so far away. Oh, my heartstrings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just starting it off. Yeah. Who listens to radio shows anymore? We've got podcasts, we've got live streams, we've got all these different things. But it was a radio show in the car.
I mean, I must say, with UK TV, so they still have, I know that This Morning still has the like call in with your problem and we'll discuss it and stuff. But in terms of radio, I mean, I don't think I properly intently go to listen to the radio. I'll listen to Spotify, I'll listen to a podcast. I won't go to radio straight away. So yeah, that's immediately something completely different for now.
See, I mean, growing up, it was all about the radio because, you know, Friday and Saturday nights, we listened to Delilah. You know, you'd call in, you try to act older. Yes, I have a problem with my crush. To give you some advice and some, right? Like Delilah was all about it, you know. But now it's, I mean, I have it in the car, but I definitely don't listen to it like I did before, you know, or in your room hanging out with friends because you're trying to write down the lyrics to a song because you don't have Google.
Write down the lyrics and tape it, record it because I want to hear it more.
Exactly. You know, you both write down stuff so you can hear it later and try to come up with it. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely not a thing. I mean, growing up, we had Frasier. He was a radio talk host or whatever. You know, he did his little thing. Like, it was a huge thing back then. But now, no, it's just a little weird. Like, they have like dumb little segments and stuff on the radio, but definitely not, oh, call in with your problems. We're going to help solve it. I'm a doctor, all that. They don't have that now that I've seen.
Yeah. And if they do, it's on a totally different platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and you just think like, if they were to have it now, there's so many sort of like vetting before they're officially on the air. So the fact that it's the 8-year-old kid who's given the address, given the phone number, dad's completely unaware,
Yeah.
Now that would be shut down straight away.
Yeah. Well, and Sam was like, how did they get our phone number? Well, I had to give it.
Yeah.
How did they get our address? I had to give it. What? I mean, the dad was at least a little alarmed.
And the fact too that like the show actually like not the fact that they had their address, but then also had it to where other people could get the address as well with all the fan mail and everything. And then that's how she was able, or one of the ways that she was able to like find his house and visit it. Like, it's a miracle more people didn't show up at their house, honestly.
Right? That's creepy now. I don't want people to have my address. If I give it to you, okay, but that's a little creepy now.
Yeah.
Like, if you pull up at my house, I'm calling the cops.
I heard you on the radio. I'm outside your house. What? Huh? Okay. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go call 911.
Yes, like I'm hiding in the closet. I'm calling the cops. Like,
let me grab my bat. Nobody open the door.
Camera. I don't know you.
That too, yeah.
Exactly.
Go away.
Right. 100%. 100%. Crazy.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just the wake up. He's on again.
Oh yeah. I love how she's too like trying to talk to different people about her feelings to them when they haven't even met. She's like, I feel something. What? I mean, I can feel what the story. Like, you hear something, it can hit me in the feels, but I don't go, ooh, I'm gonna fantasize about him. Oh, I feel so sorry that he's a widower. He's mine.
Yeah. What? I mean,
never quite there. Right? I mean, nowadays the stalking is just give me a name and I can find them on social media.
Right?
It's weird.
Here I go. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna
weird.
search this and blah, 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 and I know everything about you.
Right? Quietly. Yeah.
Quietly, yeah.
You can stalk from afar without.
What I love, with them.
Yeah. You're just investigating, that's all.
Exactly. Well, what about the family dinner where they're all in there and, they're announcing? And then the dad starts planning the wedding. Since when has a dad ever planned the wedding?
Yeah, he just says, we're in the garden, we're going to have this food. And then he's like, well, I'm allergic to strawberries. I'm allergic to this. Like, taking no consideration to the man who's getting married at all.
The man who's getting married, right? And then the cousin, he's allergic to bees.
Right. And it just kept, but he was like staring, just bees.
Bees.
He's allergic to all sorts of bees. Just every kind of bee. What? Like, I don't like those two, and it's like those two guys had a moment of like, oh, I found a kindred spirit because we're allergic to everything.
Yeah.
Just weird.
I think in that scene as well, he does a reference to that goes down like a lead balloon of some speech that the Yankees do, and I looked it up. So time-wise, so the film was in '93, and that was a film. The reference he's making is from a speech in 1939. So if the film was made this year, that's like me referencing something from 1971. So it seems like a bizarre amount ago.
Wow.
And it was one of those that just made no sense. I mean, I know if you're probably a big baseball fan, you probably get it, but
right.
Average woman.
It is a little weird, though. It is a little weird.
I thought he was saying that the person was like stuttering because he was repeating the words. So obviously I'm English, so that's part of it as well. But I looked up the clip on YouTube, and then he's saying it, but it's echoing. I'm like, oh, that's not that
makes sense.
Not actually funny at all.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought he had a stutter the whole time. Yeah.
Well, and their meat, that couple's meet cute. Annie and Walter, their meet cute was sandwiches. We got the wrong sandwiches. I got the wheat and he had the white or something like that. And I'm like,
What a connection.
Did they mix it up? You know.
It was fate to mix it up. It was fate. Yeah. No.
No, it was just oh. But yeah, I love it when they're calling in, you know, and he's sitting there and they're talking, and you know, Jonah's filling everything in, and just got some good stuff with that. I love how he's talking about that it's just destiny. You know, it just
right.
happened.
Yeah.
It was just magical. You know, what'd you love about her? The million little things. That was just so touching.
Yeah, and then Annie's obviously just clung on to that and thought he's such an amazing guy.
Yeah,
I
feel like
think
nowadays-
too, like you see that a lot with like 80s and especially early 90s stuff. It was, you know, kind of exaggerated with it, and it was just like the tiniest little thing that made them kind of like fall in love with it or with each other and stuff like that. I think that's a huge kind of theme of just the tiniest little like, oh, I like you, I'm in love. Oh,
yeah.
kind of with it. Okay, sure, we can do that. That's fine. I mean, that goes along with your stocking. That works. Yep. It matches. Okay.
I feel like it would have like really like validated like your feelings of like, especially or even with like 16 Candles, but even like as an adult too, like even seeing somebody in the workplace, you're like, oh, like they got the same coffee as me. You're like, oh, maybe like we're meant to be, you know? So it kind of like validates those like feelings of like when you're looking for love, it's like every person could be like a possibility. So I feel like that's definitely still kind of the same, is that it still like validates those feelings. Like the movie works to try and like normalize like, yeah, like do a little internet stalking. Like you could be, they could be the one, you know?
Yeah. You're that person that has that crush, and that person clearly doesn't like you, but you're trying to find that smallest connection. Oh, we got pepperoni pizza too. We're twinsies. Oh, you know, that just that little thing. It's meant to be. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That's all right. Love it.
Oh. What
I
about
would just like to say though, if I called a radio station and put my parents on blast like that, like one of them, they would have been like, "Excuse me, I got to go get a belt."
Yeah.
He would not be like, "Come over here. I'm not going to suffer alone." I'm good, Dad. I'm good.
I would have said, I'll pass on this, hang up,
and never go back on the radio again. That's the other thing. Not keep going back. Like, let's just keep going back for this. No.
Yeah.
Just a little thing. We would not survive that.
No. I wouldn't have even never thought actually to make a call.
Yeah.
You know, when I was the age of 8, I wouldn't have made a call.
No.
Just because I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I would have known how because we were shown how to call 911. But other than that, you know, it just wasn't. That's a teenage thing.
That's what I was saying. Jonah acts very old for his age. Not only in like when he talks about like the things that he like heard at school, like the inappropriate stuff, but also just like how he expresses himself and like his language and everything. Yeah, definitely. You can tell like obviously the character's written like by an adult.
Because his friend has cable. I forget his friend's name, but he's like, he's got cable. Oh, okay then.
Yeah. Well, and that goes into, you know, when they're home alone after school. I know we were home alone after school. We were latchkey kids, and so I get that, but we weren't allowed to have friends or anything, you know, especially of the opposite sex. And
again, only at the age of 8. Like, no, like you never let me home alone when I was younger. Like, no way.
I mean, I remember walking home from school in 5th grade. My son is in 5th grade. I cannot imagine him walking home alone in 5th grade. Like now, like it's crazy. But yeah, I was 10, 11 walking home by myself. Like, and then on Fridays I got off early, so I was literally home alone, just hanging out. Yeah, today that would be outrageous, but
Right. Yeah. Haley didn't stay home
But-
probably till she was 12, 13.
Yeah.
But me, I mean, we were 7, we were 8.
Yeah.
And
You
I
had to
did have
figure
a
it
little-
out.
But yeah,
No.
you
Now-
figured it out.
Nowadays, people would be calling CPS if they heard about that.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
you would get a
Oh,
visit.
Yeah.
yes.
You would definitely get a
Yeah.
visit.
Oh yeah. Anybody under the, I think it's like what? It's even frowned upon against, like, depending on where you're at, like 13-year-olds. They're like, no, you can't say them. And people, like, cops were called, and I was like, oh. I was like 7, but okay, sure. That different time. I get it. Yeah.
It's just amazing. But yeah, she just switches around, and I love how she at that time was doing all the abbreviations.
Yeah.
Oh, the friend.
The friend.
Forgot about that. Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
And then
And then,
she's the one that she books all the flights for Jonah as well, because her mum
Yeah.
something to do with the travel, isn't she?
Yeah,
But
both the mom
yeah.
and dad ran a travel agency.
Yeah.
And I tell you, those computers are not easy, because that's what I do. And you
Yeah.
have to know all these little formats. And she was just clicking away.
She's so young. Like, I never would have known how to do that. I knew how to answer the phone.
Yeah.
That was it. Like,
We
With a trip to Greece, cool. Don't know where I'm
Actually-
sending you.
Haley was 3, and I realized I was taking too many work calls, because all of a sudden it rings and she goes, "Hello, Tony Travel."
Oh. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, didn't know how to book flights, but she knew what it meant to miss it.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Well, when she's booking the flights, she says, "Oh, well, I'll say that you're 12, so you can be by yourself." But like, surely there's going to be some form of ID. I mean, I don't obviously know what American travel
nothing.
in the country, but there's going to be some form of ID to prove that if you're flying. You can't just lie.
It was pre
Well, and-
9/11, so I mean, a little bit different.
But still, I mean, the fact that she flat out is lying about his age too, though, like, that's she would get arrested for that, like, because that's she would totally get in trouble for that. You can't just be like, we'll just say that you're no.
Do
There's
you
a
want me
lot
to
of steps in
say
place for
short?
that. Yeah, right?
Even if you're short, and that it makes you angry.
Are you like, was there no like sign off from like the guardian too, since he's unescorted? Like, I feel like I know that you can fly like by yourself, like as a kid, and they have somebody follow you, but I feel like there's got to be some like procedures for like guardians to say that it's okay, because legally, then people could come back and sue. Like, but
And technically, kids do not need anything to fly, but the parent has to have all of the information for this side, who's picking them up on the other end, and
Yeah.
you know, they have to have all the IDs, and they put these little lanyards around them, and or walking up to the gate when they took her to the airport.
Yeah, they're not supposed to leave like a flight attendant or whoever's with them side. Like, they are supposed to be with them 24/7. If not, all hell breaks out. Yeah. Little different in this one, but
Yeah. Well, and then when he was taking Victoria to the airport, and they literally walked her right to the gate.
Yeah, and if that
While the other passengers coming off.
Yeah, if that moment wasn't there, then he wouldn't have seen Annie for the first time and had that instant connection. So you'd wonder if it was filmed again now, that would not work, would it?
No, the whole movie would have been blown.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or it'd be really short.
I know
with
there's
stalking and things as well.
Because I know there's some grace with like going with a person behind the gates, but you have to have special permission. Like, I had a friend from Germany, her parents and stuff came over from Germany, and she was taken to the airport. Well, they don't really speak English, and so she got to go with them so she could translate and make sure, because Denver airport's insane if you've ever been. But she had to get special access and like all these things to say that she's allowed to go through without a boarding pass. So it's not just, oh, okay, you can go through, you know what? It's a huge thing. So.
Yeah, it is. I think Adam might be the first one that had given us a question or a comment. Rom-coms have totally given a generation's unrealistic exception that you will meet man, woman of your dreams in your local Tesco's as you both reach for the same fresh veg or pint of milk.
And I'm here for it, Adam. I'm here for it.
Where is that
Sometimes
moment?
we just want to be swept upon just overdoing something normal or everyday. It's kind of like why I watch my Korean dramas. It's so unrealistic, but you love it. Or your Hallmark movies, right, Leslie? Like you just,
Yeah.
it's just, this is so ridiculous, but you're like, I love it.
Okay,
What
now
happens next?
right, you just said K-dramas and we're on a whole nother schedule now.
Exactly. I'm 5 episodes in. They just told them they liked each other. Yes.
Tune in next week for K-drama discussion.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
I've got to watch it. I got to find a new one to watch. So let's pick one, gals.
We'll talk about which ones you haven't seen, which ones you need to see. I'll share some of my knowledge.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Keith and Cat Knight, they met over the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's definitely chemistry before we met. See? There you
Yeah.
go.
It's kind of funny though. That's how Pete and I met. He
That's right.
he was going out with my best friend.
Oh, where's my wine?
And they were chatting on the phone, and she wanted to get into the pool, so she put me on. We decided, okay, he leaves for college tomorrow. Let's go, and I'll go out to the movies. And love at first sight, I swear it clicked. And she was going to be telling him that night, hey, I've actually got a boyfriend that's in Hawaii. So yeah, she'd been lying all this time.
So no loss on her part then.
No
So
loss.
she was like,
Even as a friend, she wasn't a loss. It was a total gain all the way around. Yeah, It was one of those. It was the freakiest night. Yeah, we met. I told him, he went out, comes back, asked me if we want to go on a date. We swing by McDonald's. This guy's giving him a nasty look through the drive-thru. It's my ex-boyfriend.
oh,
I know about that.
Yes.
seriously, I forgot the wine tonight. Dang, you're giving us all the tea, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had to go to the bathroom. So we stopped by my house. He had to meet all my parents and all of my sister's friends.
Right out the gate. All right.
And then we went and met the friend that was no longer a friend much longer after that.
Pete just called you out there.
Oh, did he? Let's see what he says. Oh, yeah. I was trying to keep it PG, Pete.
Can I do a little?
Right? It's like, this is my parent. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, let's jump back to
That's
the.
hilarious.
But
That's
yeah, there are,
great.
I mean, there's meet cutes and all different kinds of things.
Yeah, Sleepless in Seattle was definitely feeding the delusions, as well as many other 80s movies. Throughout time, we've had plenty of films to kind of feed those delusions to be like,
Yeah,
"It's
absolutely.
nothing to me."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, in one of the movies that was based off An Affair to Remember.
Yeah.
With Cary Grant.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, we'll meet up at the top of the building. He comes and visits her because she hasn't called and doesn't even ask why she's not moving. It's because she's debilitated. And yeah,
Right.
I've never seen that, but
You know, it kind of throughout when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think about their other movie together, You Got Mail.
You Got Mail, yes.
You know, because they're far away, they build this thing up, and then it happens to be that they're enemies, you know, and stuff like that. But still, it kind of builds up. But they do have really good chemistry for it. So
Yeah.
I mean, it works. But I kept thinking about that throughout this one. Just that one was less stalkerish.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny how in that one their worlds would collide.
Yes.
You know,
right.
they'd walk by each other and not even realize it.
Yep.
But
Living
yeah,
in
the
the same
chemistry of the
neighborhood,
two.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I loved it when Jonah yelled, "Spider! Spider!" My dad's dating a hoe. What kid knew what a hoe was at that time?
Because he's watching cable at his friend's house. That's how he
The cable.
It's the cable. Dang cable. Oh.
So I saw your note, Zoe. How do you feel about her using a paper map?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm quite anxious if I don't know where I'm driving. So
Yeah.
the fact that you've got a giant map just covering. How are you like not swerving here, there, and everywhere? If that was now, before I started, I would set my Google Maps up. I'd have the sat nav going. Everything's calm. Everything's quiet. But no, just have a giant map all over your face.
I will say I mostly had the ones that were in a binder, so it was less chaotic. Or you print them out or whatever. But we had the fold out ones. But if we had that it's more of my mother in the in this passenger, and my father's like, I can't see, we're gonna crash, or you're folding it wrong. So I was like, I don't want that. It's just me. So I got one with a binder.
Yeah. As the Haley only knows what maps are because her grandparents would keep them in the back of the
That's what I
car.
was thinking. Yeah, there'd be times as a child, my grandfather would be like, where are we on this map? I'm like, Papa, I don't know.
I can't read.
yeah, there's almost kind of like,
there. That's where we're at. We're right there. That looks good. Yeah. No, it's a lot less stressful with GPS nowadays.
Oh my gosh,
because you can look ahead. Like I'll be at a red light if I've never gone somewhere. I'll try to like look ahead and kind of anticipate. Do I need to get over this way or that? Kind of look through that. But yeah, it's still really aggravating. Like because my parents don't have GPS. My mom has it on her phone, but we kind of talked earlier before the stream that she's not too into her cell phone. And so I told them I can teach you how to do it. Nope. So they would write down an address, and my dad would look it up, write down the directions, and then they would still come back. We couldn't find it because they wrote down the wrong address or something. So at least with your phone, you got immediate, like if you're at the wrong place, you can immediately be like, you can call somebody, be like, hey, what is? Oh, it's wrong. Put it back in, and you're good. You can't do that if you looked it up at home. Exactly.
Yeah. You can be like, hey, I don't know where I am. Like send like a pin of your location. They can be like, oh, okay, like take a right or a left. Yeah.
Yep.
You can even do that walking, which is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
Like I can't find you. Oh, here you go.
Or it'll reroute if you've gone the wrong way, so you don't have to have that panic again. It just does it for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or what page was that section on? I don't know. I lost it. I moved my thumb. Yeah.
Oh, I was covering it up.
In my state was if you were lost, you have to look for the mountain. The mountains will tell you that's west. Well, I had a friend that called me that had moved here, and she goes, I'm lost. I'm like, okay, so she's trying to tell me where she is. She couldn't find it on the map. I didn't know the street name that she was talking about. And I was like, where's the mountains? She goes, all around me. I'm in the middle of them. So she was in the foothills, and so it was kind of surrounding her. And I was like, oh, okay.
I can't help you now.
Let's go back again. Let's try to figure this out. Yeah. Little difficult. So definitely way more convenient and a little more safer to drive nowadays. Sure. Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, it's all shabby.
Debbie.
Thanks,
Great. She's doing fantastic.
Yeah. Enjoying all the goodness.
Yes.
Let's see where we've got some more. So we had so many good little things.
I know.
Oh yeah, the mail. How you would get a lot of mail, and they got bags and bags, and now it's social media.
Loads of notifications would be
Yeah,
today's
his DMs would have been so full.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I know we'd said about an affair to remember. So again, I did the year comparison. So that would be referencing a film that was in 1989. And I thought, oh, I'll get an example to give it a bit more context. So that's as if now referencing When Harry Met Sally, that was one that was in 89. So you kind of think, oh, okay, it is sort of, you get it a little bit more, the reference and the sort of the love for it, which I guess is almost like us doing it for this film.
Yeah. Well, and we had noticed that they were using the typewriters.
That's what I was going to read.
Yeah, I would like rub my eyes. I was like, am I saying that right? I was like, she really just pulled a whole typewriter. And I was like, well, I guess she would have either had to typewrite it or like handwrite it. So, but I don't know.
I miss typewriters. We used to have one, and I loved click, 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 click. I loved it. I had no problem with typewriters.
See, I'm upset that I've never gotten
a little faster now, but
I just want to do the like,
right? Yeah, exactly.
So badly, but I'm not hardly around anymore.
It wasn't as satisfying because we had an automatic one. You wanted to push it over, but it was still like clink, clink, clink. Yeah, it was still. But it is a lot easier just to be able to send a text or a quick email. You don't have to, because you'd still have to post that, mail it off, whatever, or
make those days.
Yeah. So it's definitely communicating with your loved one or potential or whatever. It's a lot easier now, a lot faster. You don't have to wait as long. But I kind of miss the whole writing letters to each other. Is something really special about that, because you took time away from everything to kind of sit down, and just kind of lay it all out versus, okay, bye,
Yeah. And it took that thought.
Yeah, that time and the thought, like it would mean so much more now to like receive a letter from somebody, because you're like, they could have just sent a text or something like really quickly. And even too, like the way that, especially like with dating culture now too, that there's like different levels of communication, like can signify different like levels in your relationship. Like if you're just sending like a Snapchat message, it's kind of like, oh, like you're just like talking, like you're kind of a thing, but not really. But if you get like a letter, you're like, oh, so they're obsessed with me.
The thought,
like,
right? Yeah. It can come off as creepy now. Like, really?
Yeah, it can be
Why would they do that?
The fact that you know my address as well.
Yeah, again.
How'd you find me? Your location is on your Snapchat, so I got it from Snapchat.
Well, and it's like when Sam was on the date with Victoria, beforehand he said, don't call unless it's an emergency and all of this. And they're sitting there in the restaurant and you have a call. Think how hard it was if you were staying home by yourself and there was an emergency to get to your parents, to have the emergency even halfway resolved.
Yeah, there's that fine line of, do we call because we're in trouble, or do we not call because we don't want to get in trouble? Can I ask my neighbor without them telling my parents? I don't know what to do. Yeah.
But or them taking the phones and, sitting down right beside each other, the long phone line, so you could take it all over the house before they had the cordless.
Right? You got twisted in that long cord, or you sat there and you wrapped your finger around it and it would come off, and then you do it. And then I remember one time I was talking so long, my finger turned purple. I was like, left it too long. Literally had to spin for like 5 minutes to get untwisted. Now I can just take the house phone anywhere. It's not the same. Hanging up on somebody is not the same anymore.
Ooh. Oh no,
I hate
no,
you,
it's
right?
not the same effect.
How dare you? Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
There's satisfaction just slamming that headset down, right?
I kind of need like a fake phone with me so that way I can dramatically slam it down and then I hit end call.
Yeah. It's not the same aggression. Just click. No, it's not.
We've got the handsets at the office, and I had this lady. She was just being unruly, and I just flat out told her, I was like, I'm going to hang up on you now if you don't be nice. And she kept going. I'm like, goodbye. And I was like, poof. I was like, yes. And then she called back and said, that was not very adult-like.
Neither
Well,
is you talking to me that way.
I warned you at least. That was very adult.
you warned her. You weren't. See, when I did IT, because we had regular phones and stuff like that. My mute button was my best friend.
Yes.
Because of how, because or if I said, hey, I have to look up something, I just muted. I didn't put them on hold so I could hear everything, and I would hear them bad mouthing me. And so in the middle of them bad mouth, oh, the stupid IT person doesn't know what they're doing. And I was like, so I would, while they're bad, I would unmute and be like, I'm sorry, what was that? Huh? I thought you put me on hold. No, ma'am. I just muted my phone so you wouldn't hear me typing, looking up your issue. Yeah. That was always fun.
Oh, so much
how did you
fun.
guys feel like when he started not remembering his mom?
That's
Yeah.
one of those that's a teary thing, because you know how that feels, and you know how a kid just really wants that love.
Yeah.
I did see on his bed, I think literally right next to him, there was a picture of his mum. And I suppose
Yeah.
that's as much as they could really have. Whereas obviously now you can have like voice notes, you can have videos,
Yeah.
it goes sort of really far beyond. So yeah, it was sort of that's really sort of heartbreaking that he's forgetting her.
Yeah. And to
Because
think that, like,
not everybody had video cameras, and they were massive. They're on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You kind of look like a one of those broadcasters outside and stuff like that. Like, they were expensive back then, so not everybody had those. Or you might have pictures and stuff like that, but it's not the same having those videos where, let me just pull it up and stuff like that. So definitely, that's
to think that, like, one day that, like, he would feel like all that he remembers of his mom is like that picture and probably like a couple memories, and like that's it. Like, thinking about that, it makes me tear up. I start to look like that one dinner where she's describing the movie and she's just like breaking down. That's about to be me if I think about it for too long.
All right, we'll change the subject. Don't cry. Don't cry. I'm sorry I brought it up, but no, it does hit you in the heartstrings with it for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have him flying from Seattle to New York.
I have no concept of how long that would be. So roughly speaking, how long would that flight be?
It's about a 4.5, 5-hour flight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good day travel, really, from sort of start to finish.
Yeah, it's almost like flying from New York over to London.
Right.
So I mean, it's a good distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're only 8. Like,
I was thinking that. I was like,
that's they don't. My son still has a hard time with concept of time. So for a kid, even if it's 4 or 5 hours, that's, oh my gosh, it's been a day. Like, it's huge for them. So it's got to feel triple for him with that, for sure.
Well, and I mean, just as an adult, when you're in that airplane, you're like, how much longer? Oh my gosh, how much longer?
Yeah, you get antsy yourself. Yeah.
And even now, like, we have like TVs, like you can like be like, oh, okay, I'll just watch like, okay, like 5 hours. Okay, I can get like 2, maybe like 2.5 movies in, but like he literally had to sit there, and it's not even like when I was a little girl, like I remember like we at least had like iPods and stuff, so I could at least listen to music, but like, nope, he didn't have anything. Like, he was just sitting there unless he brought like a coloring book or like a book that you could read, but that was it.
Yeah, you can bring coloring books, you can bring books, maybe, I don't know if they came out yet, but maybe a little something, but it wasn't much. Huh?
I said he had his teddy bear. And you only find that after, she opens his bag, does some more stalking.
Yes, we can't just stalk the dad. We have to stalk his entire family. If the kid likes us, we're in.
Well, the kid, he's had to have been here. There's the bag.
Yeah.
Any more, that bag would have been ripped away and, taken to a bomb.
Like a suspicious, like a bag being left somewhere unattended. It's like calling a bomb threat.
Like a well-visited tourist spot. Like, you're going to be so hot on that.
Yeah.
There, it's fine.
100%.
Oh.
I do have to say though, I miss having a Rolodex. I have a lot of numbers saved in here, but I still don't. I'll have stuff that I'm like, where did I put it? Like I don't automatically just put it in here.
Yeah.
And then so I still have like a small like date book, but it's got people's numbers in there just in case, because I've had, you drop your phone, you're kind of screwed with it. You've lost everything if you can't replace it right away. Or I had my last phone, I could see the top half, but the bottom half, I couldn't see the numbers. So I couldn't even like get into it. You just see, when you unlock it, 1, 2, 3, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't even get in to get the numbers that I need with it. So I miss the Rolodex. I do.
I'm trying to take care of that because I have this little tiny one at work.
Mhm.
Where, I mean, it's even in my desk drawer. I'm like, okay, I can still look at it this way, but
If it works, use it.
the feel,
Organized.
Rolodex.
it's the comfort Rolodex.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that. Comfort Rolodex. I now want a comfort Rolodex. That's fantastic. What are you gonna put in there? I don't know. I'll find
don't know.
anything
I'm
to put
gonna-
in there. Yeah.
I feel like if I had a Rolodex too, like I would be printing pictures out and like clipping it, like gluing it, because I do like in contact photos, like like putting like the funniest pictures I can find of like the people in my life.
Nice.
Like I feel like if I would have had a Rolodex, or like when I get a comfort Rolodex, I'll make sure to print out the most embarrassing photos that I have and glue them in.
I love it. I love it.
Go old school.
Mhm.
You never know when
Write
that phone
everything
can
down.
go away. But then you have nothing to call with because
Right? Yeah. You just got that landline like I do.
that's when cat will be it.
Send a pigeon over and I'll call for you.
Let's call cat. Oh wait, I can't.
Just use your carrier pigeon. It's fine. It'll get to you.
Yeah. There you go.
Does a carrier cat work?
Yes. Yes, it does. I have 25 outside, so one of them will get a message to me.
Oh. Or is there anything else that we want to chat about with Sleepless in Seattle?
I think that's mostly it. I mean, mostly it was the technology and like the safeguarding and security were the two major plots throughout, really, that you just think that's not happening now.
No.
No. It's funny to watch it now and being older and stuff, because when you're young you don't pick up on a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the stalking, you just think, oh, it's so cute and sweet, and now you're kind of like, oh, all right. But I mean, if you like the delusional love story, then definitely watch it. Which every once in a while you do kind of need that,
Yeah.
a little
There's just
little
that
delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then all's right in the world for another, 5-6 years, and
There you go. There you go. Yep.
I
Absolutely.
say Sleepless has always been one of my favorites. Why? I don't know, but when it was going to streaming and all of that, I'm like, how am I going to find this? I gotta go purchase it. I can't find the DVD anymore.
Oh, I don't know. I've always been a Tom Hanks fan.
Me
Pretty much
too.
anything he's done, I'm a fan. I'm love it. I'm hooked with it. He's so
Right.
versatile with stuff. So maybe it's got something to do with that. It's.
I think
just
that's
good at what he
exactly it.
does.
He's a well-loved actor.
Yeah. I think I do tend to pair, like, I suppose we kind of said it earlier, but Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail, I think just because they're both in the main characters, I just pair them, even though I think they're a good few years between each other. But yeah, both really great films.
I was so excited when they came out with You've Got Mail because I was like, "Ooh, they had that chemistry."
Yeah, it's believable, because sometimes you have co-stars that are like, I don't see it, right? I'm not feeling it. Like, it seems like they tolerate each other instead of like that huge connection that they have, and they have it. It works really well for them in both movies, so definitely a fan.
Oh, well, our second one we're going to look at is 16 Candles. It was actually made in 86, I think. when I was looking at. Yeah. And we've got the main characters with Samantha and the geek. It was funny. I was trying to figure out what the name was for Anthony Michael Hall, and they just called him the geek.
The geek.
The geek. That's his name.
He does play geek. He plays good geeks.
He plays a really good geek.
He was at what Weird Science. He played a great geek in that too. So
yes.
he's got a certain style to him, but
yeah. And I get that one and Better Off Dead. We watched them at the same time. And Lane, I don't know why, but the geek and Lane, they just kind of all run together.
They do. Yeah.
But poor Samantha, she's waking up on her 16th birthday. Her sister's getting married the day after. Who in their right mind lets their sister plan their birthday? The mom. Why is the mom let the wedding be planned the day after her birthday?
That's
surely you'd think, oh, okay, well, Samantha's birthday is the day before, so it would be like a running thing of, do you know what I mean? Rather than just lost in the ether.
Yeah.
Just forgetful.
Yeah, they totally forget.
Well, and it kind of makes you think in the before, like they don't really care about her and stuff, and that's kind of how you get the vibe of like she's kind of like whatever. You know, she's not the boy, she's not the younger one, she's not the older one, she's just kind of there.
The middle child.
Yeah, the classic middle child. You're gonna get ignored. But then you see like later on when her mom realizes they kind of have that connection of like, oh, they're really sweet with each other. So
yeah,
you would think it would be like, oh, my first daughter, okay, hey, I love you, but this is a little, can we do it like the week after, a week before, because this is your sister's birthday, you know?
Yeah,
little weird.
Yeah.
I don't like her sister in this, by the way. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. She's awful.
She sounds like, I mean, to me it was like a ditz. I mean, she does not engage her brain. There's no brain engaging.
No.
Yeah,
especially with picking that fiance.
Horrible. And then when she's on the muscle relaxers and she's basically just high.
Four of them.
Which also, why did they have muscle relaxers with them too? Like nowadays, like you have to get a prescription for that. Like, so they either...
surely in that state, there's no way she's getting married. Like you're clearly on something. You're not at a sort of mental state to go, yes, I will marry this person.
Yeah.
It's the 80s. Who cares? You're lucky the groom wasn't smashed.
You're just coming out of the 70s. That was all the drugs. You know?
Exactly.
I mean,
it's still a big thing. Yeah. But like, okay, so I don't celebrate birthdays, but was like your guys' 16th, because I know it's a huge moment, you know, a huge one for, especially for girls. Like, did it mean a lot for you guys turning 16? Like, how did you guys, you know, relate with that?
Go ahead, Haley.
Oh, as much as I'm like, yeah, it meant a lot to me. If you asked me what I did on my 16th birthday, I couldn't tell you. I probably had school, and I was upset about the anticipation, at least, like leading up to it. Like maybe like the day of, you're kind of like, oh, okay, like it's my birthday. Like I feel like I don't know. I know like some people, they feel like, oh, it's like not a huge thing. Like you want people to know, but like you kind of don't want everybody to know. And like, I don't know if anybody else is in the club of like usually cry at least like once on your birthday. It's just a thing, but always happens. But like the anticipation leading up to it, like how many times you're like, oh, like that's when I'm gonna be like a woman. And you even see that in 16 Candles when she like talks about like how she looks and that she doesn't even feel like she's 16 technically, but she still feels like she's like 15. Like definitely one of those things where it's like built up, like the anticipation leading up to it. You're like, oh, this is gonna be huge, like my life is gonna change. And then you get there and you're like, oh. And then to think of like if your family would have forgotten, you're like, oh, so now it's really a letdown.
Yeah.
I think for mine, whether it's just more a UK thing, we don't, a sweet 16 isn't really a thing. So I'm just trying to think, that was when I was in my last year of, well, that would have been year 11, which probably means nothing to you. But it's like my last year of sort of main secondary school or high school, I guess, in a way. So I'd done all of my exams. We were on our sort of summer exam break. So it just was just sort of another birthday, really. It wasn't a special coming of age type thing. Just another birthday, really.
Yeah. And say for us, it was the anticipation of, oh, I'll be eligible for my driver's license now.
Yeah, actually,
and
that
it
was the
wasn't
thing, too. That was
yeah.
the big one.
But you knew, okay, I'm 16, I can get it once I get all through the things.
Or even like once you're 16, you're like, oh, I'm 16, like I'm 2 years closer to 18, and then it's like all the freedom that comes with that, like everything that you can do, and graduating high school and everything. Yeah
100%. I mean, like I said, I didn't celebrate them, but you definitely have those milestones that you're anticipating, like you said, you know, oh, like I can get my license, you know, or I want this kind of car. You start thinking about, at least for me, I did when I got to 16 of, oh, I want to do this. And it's 2 years till I'm 18 and I can do this. And then, you know, I'll kind of branch out. But when I was watching it, to me, it still feels very relatable because of how disappointed she felt. Because she's looking at herself in the mirror going, ugh.
We've all been there.
I still get those moments, and I'm 38, and I'm like,
you almost want to
I look up great, and okay.
Tell like Sam, be like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't necessarily stop there. Like,
yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, and with this, I mean, we go back to the phones.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, you had your phones in your room. The girls, you know, chit-chatting. Whereas, and her grandparents, where they had answered the phone.
My grandparents would have had a heart attack during that phone.
The whole thing that led up to him ringing. So he obviously knew about her, and she was looking at him, and he kind of had that trigger of, oh, this is someone that seems interested in me. So he looks through the yearbook starting off, and then decides to find her. Like the confidence to do that is on another level. Whereas if you'd say it was today, you'd be stalking them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and then think, oh, do I send a message? Do I not? Or do I follow them if they're like a private account or something?
Or like a picture.
That's the first move, not a full-on call.
Yeah.
Because
he obviously got it from somebody. I'm sorry, what?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I just said just picking up that phone and dialing the number.
Yes.
And not knowing who's going to answer on the other end, because there's so many people that can answer. So, I get why I hung up.
Right? Or just breathing. Okay. Who is this? Did I get the wrong number? Yeah. That fear of...
Why are they answering her personal line?
Especially this late at night. What do you want? Oh, crap.
Yeah.
You know? But I think he got it from somewhere, because didn't he have it like wrapped up in a paper? Like he unfolded a paper and got her number.
Oh, I thought that he looked her up in like the phone book.
The phone book? I don't remember.
I thought he had it, like he bugged somebody about it. But either way, like you got to look him up in the phone book. You got to do, like, you got to do work versus, like you said, just going on Instagram, typing in their name. Like, no, you had to hunt them down, because what if they're unlisted?
Yeah.
You have to ask people, because that was a huge thing too. Oh, they're not listed. Well, crap. Now I have to ask all these people, well, why do you want their number?
Yeah, it's a little harder to get it.
My dad wants the dad's number? What did you say?
And okay, let's go on to the grandparents.
Yes.
The lovely grandparents.
I love that picture.
It is the best. But how many older people actually take in an exchange student now? Not many. I mean, no. I've had people who have kids that age take in exchange students, but
it just seems so random, doesn't it? Like, why are these older people just have this random teenager in the house?
And then come to find out, you hear all the chores he's doing.
Slave labor, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I get to mow the grass. I get
to do the laundry.
Yeah.
I get to do this. Yeah. That's
Oh,
right. Yeah, it is a little odd. You know, normally parents with teenagers or something, that makes more sense because then, you know, that kid can hang out with that kid, not grandparents just having
Yeah.
free labor.
and then,
But whatever works for him, I guess, right?
well, and how many of the old sayings from the 80s did we say that are so inappropriate? So inappropriate. And I mean, I giggle at them now because I remember what it meant back then. But you even mention it now?
You're canceled.
You're canceled.
There were quite a few times.
Go ahead.
There were quite a few times where my jaw was really on the floor. I was like, they did not just say that. And like all the characters are so like everybody's just like chill about it, and you're like,
yeah, you could get away with that with today for sure. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite scenes, slightly just funny to watch because I mean, 16 Candles, despite obviously its inappropriate parts now, it's one of my favorite films. But I really like when the grandmas are doing the breakfast and she's got the cigarette with the giant amount of, and then the other one's so it doesn't drop. Hilarious. So
she's just doing donuts. I mean,
she's so unbothered. She does not care. She's just like, okay, oh, I'm not gonna make that. Oh, look at that, donuts. The other one's like
the cig in one hand, knife in the other, trying to open a box of donuts.
Brilliant.
And you always have that like very dramatic, different grandparents. You know, it's very on the nose of. You have these very sweet and innocent and very eccentric on the other side. Yeah. It was
and
great.
the others are just woo.
Well, you see that when you see the sister and her soon-to-be husband. So his parents are on that eccentric side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Then obviously the main parents are just sort of chill ones. So yeah, you can just see it happening again and again, can't you?
I love the dad's expression when he's with the parents. He's like, okay. He's like, get me out of this dinner. This is okay. All right. Yeah.
He's counting how many holidays there are in the year that he'll have to see them for.
But what I loved with the dad though is when he does come to his senses and he remembers, oh my gosh, I missed my girls. You know, it was a very sweet, touching moment. And then I was like, oh my gosh, then he noticed that she's still upset. How wonderful this is, right? And he thinks she's upset because of the future brother-in-law.
Yeah, it's like projecting much.
I know. I was like, oh, it's so sweet. Oh, no, Dad. Nope. You really hate that man, don't you?
Well, in my eyes, I think there's actually a secondary star in this whole show. Mm-hmm. You know, you have Samantha going through all of her things, but then you have Long Duck Dong.
Long Duck Dong. He's on fire. Like, he's a stud in this. My goodness, right? She even says he's been here 5 days, right? He already has something. Like, he's killing it. He is killing it. Yes. Love him.
I mean, the name, the reactions that they have, the way he have him acting.
I think like 90% of the time he's on screen, there is really now inappropriate music as well.
This was the first time I noticed too that when he's that picture that we had with the grandparents staring at him and stuff at dinner, he's using silverware as chopsticks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like 2 spoons or 2 forks, but I was just like, wait, he's using silverware as chopsticks? What is going on? Yeah.
Yes.
Like, okay. All right.
Oh, Shabby, I did see where you were asking if Molly Ringwald is in this one, and she is.
Yes.
She's Samantha, the main
pink.
The main character.
Yep. Yeah, she was.
But
a
she is
staple for
also
the
in
80s.
Pretty in Pink too.
Yes.
And Breakfast Club too.
Yeah.
When you think of 80s, she's one of the people that pops up. Like 80s movies, it's Molly. Like she was in so many
Exactly.
of those defining movies and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Part of the Brat Pack.
Yes.
Definitely.
Breakfast Club. Like
Yeah.
she's just in a lot of iconic stuff. But yeah, he's a great character. Gotta love him.
Yeah.
I'm happy he found his love. And I love how they find him laying in the lawn and they're like, oh hey, there's your guy. Oh thanks.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
And then he describes the crash rather than in words, just the sounds. And you can
Yeah.
just see the reaction. No!
Love it. Lake, big lake. Great.
My car's in a lake.
Right? Oh, just lie and say it's at a friend's house or something. Don't say big lake. Don't tell them where it's at.
And then he just kind of makes it inside. You know, they leave him there. They don't take him to
Right?
the wedding or
You don't
anything.
deserve to go to the wedding.
Yeah. And they're
No,
not worried
no.
about like him, like, oh, like he may like need some help or like medicine or something, some sort of like medical attention because he was passed out in the lawn. Like he's like,
Yeah.
it's just a donger, like just leave him inside.
Yeah.
It's like, let me go check on
Exactly.
this man.
Yeah. So to backtrack a little bit, what do you guys feel like? I mean, especially with Haley and Zoe, like with her whole note taking, like the anonymous note that she was filling out. Like, did you guys have that like with that, or is that more of like a texting group thing? Like, is that realistic for you guys? Because I know in mine it would be. Notes were definitely
did the
missed
notes,
from
yeah.
people.
Even learned how to fold them the nice, cool
Yes.
ways.
Yes, but that's a very realistic thing of we've been through those situations. You didn't get my note? What the crap? Is our name on it? Like that's a full panic thing. But is that a thing for you guys?
I mean, for me, I'm probably like really out of context to give a decent answer. So whether the UK was different, I don't know. But I went to an all-girls school at that age, so you don't necessarily have that day-to-day dynamic of, oh my god, there's a boy. So we didn't really have that. But whether that's just because of the specific place that I went to, I don't know.
But did you guys ever like pass notes and stuff, or was that just not really a thing?
Not really. We just spoke to each other.
You just talked, yeah. You're like, we used our words, Kat. We used our words.
Shut up, teacher. I'm talking.
Yeah. My bad.
For me, there was definitely some note passing going on, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the fact that like also when I was in like, I specifically remember it in like elementary school, not so much like middle school, which I also wonder if it has anything to do with the like rise in like accessibility of like cell phones versus like, you know, like the flip phones and stuff with like the keypad, but versus like when like the iPhone like first came out, you know, that like I feel like I definitely like would text my friends things like, oh my god, like did you see that in class? But like in elementary school, we definitely pass notes, whether to like other girls like what do you think about this? Or like I even specifically remember like being in elementary school and there was this boy that I liked. And like I specifically remember writing a note and like passing it over to him and being like, do you still like me today? Like yes or no?
Oh, it's true. I mean, you guys could go out for an hour and then break up dramatically. So
that was definitely by recess, like we've gone through the whole relationship cycle. Like, oh, I hate him. I can't stand him. Like I saw the way he looked at Sarah. Like, how could he?
Oh,
and when we like lined up to go like to the gym or something, like he didn't stand by me. Like, how could he do that?
The betrayal.
Yeah,
the letters were real and they were juicy.
Yes, they were. Yeah,
because what it was like to get back the no, and you were like, oh, you're just like gutted in class, and you're like, shake it off. I gotta focus on my like multiplication. You know,
that's when you go down the list of okay. Next crush is next boy's name. All
next
right.
day you're like, okay, now I'm in love with this
I will
guy.
doodle his name in my notebook. That's awesome. I have to say though, like with how me and Leslie, I'm speaking for you on this though, is it was kind of easier not having technology, not having the social media and stuff like that. With, I don't want to say necessarily getting away with stuff, but doing stuff and it not being broadcasted everywhere. I think it was a lot easier with that. Yeah. I didn't have to tweet about what I'm doing today, or on Facebook, I went to the store. I don't care. I love you, but I don't care.
Only the people you wanted to know knew.
Right? And even when emails came a thing, like you were very picky about what you would put in an email because you don't know who could get it. Yes, you don't like me and my friends, we had a thing of she went away for a while, so she wrote me a letter, and my parents were like, I want to read the letter. So she would send me 2 letters. So, I'd have one for me and then one that's the family version. That's what we did.
That's great.
They don't need to know. This ain't their business, but they want to know what's going on, so it's a family one. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
my
great,
goodness. Well, at least in the end, she gets a birthday cake from Jake Ryan.
Right.
I
have to say, like, I don't hate him in this.
Yeah.
He seems pretty decent. Like he's like, you can tell he's like not happy with where he's at. He's kind of frustrated with things. He doesn't want to party. She does. She's kind of not listening to him, and he's intrigued by this other person. And I think, I don't know. I like this one a lot. I really do.
Yeah. Well, and I always thought he was like, oh, I don't want to be with her. But when I watched it this time, I realized he really does. I mean, he's the one that got the note. He read it. He knew it was her, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he starts checking in on her, and
he takes all
confidence to call as well.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, confidence, and so I liked him a lot more.
If a guy likes you, he'll put forth the effort.
Yes.
So he was through the whole thing. I was like, wow, he found her number. He called. What is going on? He's asking that the geek kid all the time, what's going on, and about her. Like, he was putting in forth a lot of effort. So I was just like, okay, I see you, Jake Ryan. All right.
And like, he didn't give up when the grandparents were really weird to him.
Right.
He didn't give up when he found out that she like gave her underwear away. Like, he was like, you know what? He's like, yellow flag, but I'm still interested.
And he gave him back to her as well, didn't he? He took it from the geek and said, I will sort that out.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take care of this.
Can I just say too, how did the geek get the hot chick? Like, how did that happen?
I after as well. She was like, "Oh yeah, I think I did have fun." Oh, and then they just start kissing. Sure.
Yeah, because most of those are like they'll make excuses. Oh, I had cough medicine the night before. It wasn't myself, or ditch him. But not this one. She was just like, "How you doing?" Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that.
What I did find quite funny, the night where he was driving her and she was still drunk or whatever, he goes to his friends and then they set up the whole camera, don't they? Go capture it, and it takes so long, and the Polaroid is just crap. But you'd think it would like be a video, that'd be an instant picture on your phone, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That'd be all over social media.
Yeah, add it to your story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
And then the morning after, when she then goes to speak to Jake, the car in the phone, the phone in the car.
Yes.
I'd forgotten that, but I was like, the car in the phone in the car? Bizarre.
Yeah.
Listen, you had that. You were rich. Like, only people with money had car phones. Like, that was a big deal. Big deal.
Because otherwise you had to have that cord.
Right? Yes.
Oh,
I do like Joan Cusack. I'm a huge Joan Cusack and John Cusack fan. I love her in this. She's just wearing a brace the whole time, and she's just kind of there in the background. She has a little moment with the drinking fountain. Oh, okay, and then just shoots it. Oh, all right, just wipe it. I love her in this.
but then you see her
Not a
having
huge
fun
role,
dancing.
I know.
And then she's
That's
at the
all
party
sweet.
at Jake's house as well, trying to.
Yeah.
Like she's everywhere. I love it. Yeah. She's
that
great.
was just awesome.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
It was just fun. Yeah. It's there are parts, you know, obviously like we said, you know, some bad parts of it, but overall I think it's just a really fun movie. You know, it's very relatable still and that kind of
Yes.
thing, but so I definitely recommend it.
Keep on the list.
Yes. Keep it in the rotation.
Yeah. Well, ladies,
Absolutely.
this has been a ball.
I know. This is so much
I just looked down. I was like, "Oh my goodness, we've gone so long." An hour and 10.
And people are still here.
Our numbers are still growing.
Now we talked about an hour about how hot Jake Riot is. So Zoe, go on.
We'll have to do this again. There's tons of movies that we can go to, and we'll move on to
Absolutely.
K-drama. Zoe, have you heard of K-drama?
I feel like you've mentioned it in a previous one, but I've not hopped on that train yet.
It's just Korean like TV shows, but they're called K-dramas because they're dramatic, but there's, you know, so you can get mysteries, murders, just like regular TV, but you just happen to call them K-dramas.
And they're normally one season.
They're very unrealistic.
Yes.
Very unrealistic, but I'm just like, there is no man that is really like that. Like, I'm not saying there's not nice guys out there. There's very sweet and thoughtful men. So I'm not saying that, but how they put it in a K-drama, so unrealistic. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to find me a love like that.
I eat it up every time though.
Yes.
Every
So
single
good.
time.
Yes. And I get so attached. And then there's one that was my favorite. They actually fell in love while making it. They got married. They have 2 babies
about Crash
together.
Landing on You?
Yes. Yes.
I love that one.
Love them. I'm rewatching it for like the millionth time, and I'm just like, it hits me there. I'm crying still. Yeah, I love it.
That's the next one.
I love that one. I've watched it so many times. Like, I don't even have to like watch it to know what they're saying. I'm like, I know what's going on.
We were watching
translator.
Yeah. So Zoe, they're all in Korean,
or they
do subtitles.
They have English dubs, but it's better if you watch it in the.
So not all of them do. Like some of them, a lot of. So like my one friend, she puts them in. She'll do a Spanish dub. So that way she does, because she mostly speaks Spanish, but so that way she can do other things and still hear it and knows what's going on and stuff like that. I don't like English dub, so I just read everything. But if you're like me and have no life and you just have it on all the time, you figure out what's going on. You don't need to read the subtitles. So that's all.
There was one time we were watching it though, and I don't know, I was tired, so I closed my eyes, and Haley goes, "Mom, are you asleep?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just listening."
She's like, I'm paying attention. I'm like, when did you learn Korean?
Yep.
Like, you're multitasking. You're trying to learn a new language. That's what it was.
Yeah.
If she sleeps with it playing, she'll know it.
Yeah,
that's what I tell myself. I fall asleep to it, and then I'll go, I understand what's going on. I don't follow certain things on YouTube and then get mad when there's not subtitles because I haven't fully learned Korean yet. So
yes.
Why does this one not have subtitles yet? Yeah.
Oh.
See, Shabby knows. He says K-dramas are always on at his house. So Shabby knows.
I bet so. His kids, I'm sure.
They're just good. They're just good.
They are
unrealistic,
and they're normally just one season. So what? 13 to 16 episodes. 16. So it's, you know, you make it through and then you can take a break or start another. Or
yeah, it's very rare for them to be 2 seasons. There's one that he's a detective and he's amazing. There's actually 2 seasons of it. So it's very rare when you find one, but I gobble it up. I'm like, yes, give me more because I want to know what happened after. Like, I'm so mad I don't have more of Crash Landing on You. I hate it. I want to know what happened after. Did they get married? Did they have babies? What is going on?
I mean, the good thing is most of it is a love story, right?
Yeah.
So Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool. So new things to do.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, we can hop on off of here and enjoy the rest of our evening.
Just thank everybody that came out and hung out with us. Thank you. Anybody
Thank
on
you,
the
guys.
rewatch,
We
thank
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Having you
Love
all
guys
here.
all.
And yeah. And we'll be back again next month. Stay tuned.
Bye.
What?
Did you see somebody asked if I would rate
Oh.
these movies highly?
Oh, DJC asked a quick question.
Ooh, okay.
I would, and I don't know. I don't want to speak for like everybody else in my generation. I am like a older Gen Z, but I definitely think that since my parents introduced me to them, I definitely like them more because like I also have like not the same nostalgia that like you guys have with it, but the same of like I hear your guys' stories about what the 80s was like and like just the vibe that it like gives off. I definitely like them. Yeah. Do you have some favorites? And some of them you do watch and you're like, ah, like seeing it, especially like being born more recently, being like, I don't think you can do that now, but overall, I like the story. So yeah.
Is that the same for you, Zoe?
Yeah, I think very much probably what you've said, Hayley, because I think I'm only 3 years older than you. So yeah, it's on that cusp. I class myself as a zillennial, so that a mixture of the two. But yeah, as parents that were sort of teenagers during the 80s, it's just passed on really. So yeah, I've got a big love of all things 80s music and films as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for sure. It's like I have to acknowledge that like, well, I was raised by like an 80s baby, so
comes with the territory, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh. Well, thank you everyone for joining in, and we will catch you again soon. Bye.
Bye.